My name is Russ Milheim from The Direct. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me. I love the Venom in the background, by the way. That's cool.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, congratulations on the movie. You got another one under your belt, another fun horror outing. I have to ask right out of the gate, and you've probably gotten similar questions, but yeah, an easy movie to compare this to, and I think a lot of people might, is Megan, right? The hit horror film recently. So how did that movie influence what you wanted to do with this one?
It's interesting. We had actually finished production when that movie came out. So I don't think I'd seen the trailer or anything for it. Maybe I'd seen the trailer while we were shooting, which was nerve-wracking because it like the title Megan. I was kind of like, oh no,
Oh
you've got
God.
Megan Fox now. You've got this sci-fi movie Megan coming out. But I actually steered cleared from it while we were shooting and everything like that. I didn't want to kind of be influenced in any way by it. I wanted to just kind of focus on the script that we had and the story we were telling. And then when we were in post-production, I did watch it and I just wanted to make sure there were certain things that we were kind of steering clear of. And in fact, I took out one particular scene because I just thought, oh, that was too similar to that. So let's cut it out. But the good thing is, we were kind of playing in this more adult driven focus box and looking at this kind of these parents within this fractured relationship as things are kind of unfolding, which really felt like a unique story that we were telling.
No, yeah, I was actually going to ask along those same lines. There are a lot of robot AI films out there. Would you say, I wanted to ask, what did you want to tackle that you felt would be most unique to your film that would make it stand out the most? Would that be your answer to that?
Yeah, I feel like with a lot of sci-fi and android and robot movies, it is large scope. It is kind of looking at the world, and I really wanted to look at it through the lens of a small, intimate family and keep the story as intimate as possible as you're kind of getting these fragments of things happening around them, whether it's his work life, things at the bar and friends and even the hospital, like certain things that we just get a glimpse into and see that sci-fi world. But I didn't want it to feel like something that's like we couldn't pull off the scope of iRobot,
Yeah.
so let's focus on the family, let's focus on those characters and keep it as intimate as possible. And that was to me the kind of core seed of the film.
Now you mentioned the word intimate, which one element that this movie touched upon was kind of how these creations could impact the bedroom romantically and lust, all of those feelings, which in a lot of these kind of films are avoided. But you kind of embraced it. So can you kind of talk about how you embraced it and how you aim to explore that within the movie?
Yeah, I think it was, and I can see why other films probably avoid, because it is kind of scary when you come into it where you're like, well, if this performance is too robotic and all that, is it going to feel comical when you get to this sequence and all that? So to me, it created more of a challenge for Megan's performance, making sure that it kind of had that right balance of robotic but human emotions, to get to that point. But it does, I think we are heading in this direction to some degree, and seeing how things within, even I would say, like, if you go back 50 years, the way technology has developed our sex lives has completely changed. And, the way we communicate with people across the world and through this, I'm talking to you from Melbourne at the moment, and it's out my morning. I'm assuming it's kind of getting late there.
4 p.m. 4 p.m.
To me, this technology, it does kind of affect our lives in so many ways. It happens so slowly that it feels natural. But I really was excited to kind of explore that aspect of it. And in fact, when we were kind of in prep, I was watching, a lot of documentaries and anything I could kind of find on this kind of element and where we're heading. And there are people out there that, only have relationships with whether it's a doll or a robotic doll and stuff like that. It's actually quite interesting to see where we are already, without even thinking about, where we're heading.
Mhm. Now, Megan Fox, right? Can you talk about working with her to kind of establish what this android was going to look like and behave on screen and why she was the perfect person to play Alice?
Yeah, I think having worked with Megan once before, and then when this project was coming up, we would definitely, I definitely thought that we could kind of, knowing her strengths and everything like that, I thought, okay, this is a role that she could really nail. It also had similarities to Jennifer's body that I really liked. And when she got to set and everything like that, we were really playing with this idea, and this was Megan's idea, and I loved it. Was this idea of her movements being like a ballerina? They've got to be slow but very precise, and the posture always has to be up and everything like that. So um, we kind of really started to lean into it from then on and play that element to it. And I think it kind of created a slight sense of dread, or it just kind of always reminded us about that, it's not, she's not human. There is this one scene, this dinner sequence where she gives Madeline, the mother, this fake smile. She kind of turns her head and smiles, and it's so fake. I love. I kind of would laugh every time I'd see it kind of pop up. It's just kind of like you could see everything, all her intentions within that performance. It was such a. I think it was really fun, and then we kind of built on that towards the end where she's starting to glitch out, and we're starting to have her kind of turn, her head spinning and glitching. So that was really fun as well. It was kind of like, well, let's how far can we go before it might feel goofy or anything like that. And I think tonally, I think we kept it pretty dark.
So I have to ask about the end. There's a very clear tease that this might not be over. That there's more Alice to come. What are your hopes and plans to maybe continue this narrative?
It's interesting because we definitely wanted to keep it open ended. I was never really approaching it as some sort of Marvel post credit sequence where 5 films down we'll have the Avengers or something like that.
Take down Alice.
Um, for me, it was really more about the um, about Nick's character arc and having to try and redeem himself of what he's done for the family. And it was about me saying, I don't necessarily think he has redeemed himself yet. He's kind of taken the first steps to say, I want to be a better man, and I want to do this right. So I kind of wanted that feeling of like, is he going to really make a change? Is he going to be a different person? And kind of combining that with Alice's character of what's going to happen with her. I thought that was quite fun. And it was, it I think it's kind of like one of those things where it's like Back to the Future one, where they didn't really think about the sequels. They kind of just gave this ending to it that felt fun. But obviously, if there was something to happen, I think wanting to explore more of Megan, this Alice's evolution in AI, and as she gets, becomes more self-aware and stuff like that, I would love to kind of explore that as a sci-fi nerd. I would, yeah, really embrace those elements.
Now you have to talk to the right people and convince someone to cross over with Megan, with Chucky. You got to get all of them together. How do you think she'd fare against the likes of those two?
That would be an interesting battle that I would. Hey, I'd pay to go watch that. See them fight each other.
Now, my last question for you personally, as an artist, how would you say your work on this movie helped you grow in your own craft, and how are you going to use those lessons to kind of better your next films or whatever comes next?
I think as uh, when you're being a director on set, you are kind of uh, under this kind of enormous pressure to get everything you want to shoot, and particularly with between this one and my last film, we had a lot more scenes, a lot more characters, a lot more action, and trying to fit that within the shooting days is the biggest challenge ever. So you are kind of always trying to evolve the story in ways that you can make your shooting days, but not lose, a scene or a creative element that you really love. So I think, you're just slowly kind of learning that. And I think the politics of just being on set and trying to kind of fight for what you want, people telling you you can't have this or you can have this instead and stuff. So you're trying to find that balance act and everything that I think, you can see seasoned directors, they know exactly how to kind of handle those elements and how to control it. And I think, slowly I'm learning those elements. And I think ultimately I want to do bigger action and stuff like that. That excites me, more horror elements. So I think just getting to really work with this crew and to work with certain departments and see what they the forefront of what they can do and everything like that, and them talking to you about it, you're kind of keeping that in the back of your head for the next project and being like, okay, this would be really exciting if we can kind of pull something like that off.
Or you got things lined up. That's what you're saying. It's like you're ready. You know what you're doing next.
Exactly, yeah.
All right. Well, thank you again for talking to me. Congratulations. And yeah, I look forward to whatever it is you have cooking up over there.
Thank you, I really appreciate it.